If you're training hard but still hitting a wall, there's a simple science back edge that most elite athletes are already using every single day: creatine monohydrate. So today I'm breaking down 10 proven benefits of creatine, how to use it safely, and what to look for so you don't waste money or risk having a banned substance contamination in your system. I'm Dr. Amy Biondich. I'm a board certified emergency medicine physician, fellowship trained in functional medicine as well as expedition medicine, and I have been caring for elite athletes for over 10 years. I want to have videos like this so that we can stick to the evidence and not be kind of only looking at the hype that's out there. So, what is creatine? Creatine is kind of like your body's rechargeable energy battery. So, inside your muscles, creatine stores energy in the form of phosphocreatine. And so, when you need really explosive power, sprint, heavy lifting, your body uses that phosphocreatine to regenerate ATP, which is basically the money currency of energy in your body. So, more creatine means more energy available for high intensity bursts. It is naturally found in red meat and fish, but you would have to eat a ton to match what supplementing can do for you. So, by supplementing with creatine, you can actually raise your muscle creatine stores by about 20 to 40%. So, like I said, let's talk about 10 proven benefits of creatine. I think the first one is one that most people maybe are already, kind of associating with creatine, and that's kind of your explosive power and sprint performance. So, creatine has been proven time and time again in many scientific studies to boost your ability to generate power quickly. So this could improve your sprints, jumps, heavy lifts, and you'll really kind of feel that difference in those first few explosive seconds when taking creatine. The second benefit of taking creatine is actually helping with strength as well as lean muscle growth. So, multiple studies show that you get greater strength and fat-free mass gains. And that's what we want, right? We want our gains to be, for most athletes, muscle, not fat. And so these gains you get when you combine creatine with resistance training. So it literally helps you lift heavier, train harder, and really build that muscle faster. The third benefit of creatine is it can improve your repeat sprint or like your repeat set capacities. So it helps you recover quicker between explosive efforts, meaning you can get more total work done across sets, sprints, plays, and that can really be something in the game, how you can separate yourself from the competition. The fourth benefit of creatine is enhanced recovery. So, creatine can speed up the restoration of phosphocreatine between bouts of exercise. And so, what that translates to is basically that you can recover faster both in workouts and between games. The fifth benefit from creatine is cellular hydration and muscle integrity. Okay, and what I mean by that is creatine actually pulls water into your muscle cells, not just under your skin, to help keep those cells hydrated, protected, and primed for growth. You can kind of think of it as making your muscles more resilient under the stress that you put them under with your workouts. And for number 6, this is maybe a little bit less known, but creatine has actually been proven to help with your thermoregulation in the heat. And so there are some myths about creatine saying that it causes like dehydration or cramping, but really multiple studies show no increased risk to this when taken properly. And most even suggest that you get better tolerance of the heat and that your body can cool itself more efficiently when you are supplementing with creatine. Okay. Number 7 is injury prevention and rehab. And so there is some early and emerging research regarding creatine and muscle integrity and recovery post-injury. And so what some of this research is showing is it could help you maintain your muscle mass during rehab. There's also some really interesting early studies there's not kind of great conclusive evidence yet, but that creatine could maybe even have neuroprotective effects after a concussion. So if I see any more studies come out for that, stay tuned because I'll definitely give an update. But on the same topic of kind of brain health and creatine, creatine has actually been proven for cognitive and brain performance. So not just in athletes, but in aging adults, anyone can really benefit from this side effect of creatine. But basically your brain uses creatine for energy, just like your muscles do. And so relatively new studies are showing benefits in cognitive function, reaction time, and even mental resilience with creatine supplementation, especially when you're fatigued. All right, getting through the list. Number 9 is, one of the benefits is that this is a long-term safe thing to take. And so why does that matter is, there's lots of data out there for decades of research are really saying that creatine is safe at recommended doses. There's dozens of studies of people being onto it consistently for up to 5 years with no adverse effects on the kidney, the liver, or the heart function in healthy people. And so, in all these conditions, it's just creatine and is really helping restore your brain and muscle energy stores. And so number 10 is, this might be kind of the most relevant to you, is how much creatine has been proven to help adolescent athletes. So what I want to talk about specifically is creatine has been proven to help adolescent athletes. There have been 9 published studies looking at creatine use in supplements. 5 of these were in swimmers and 4 in soccer players, and every single one showed a performance benefit and none reported an adverse event. And on top of that, 5 to 20% of adolescents are already using creatine. And this does depend a bit on the age and the sport, but this tells us this is a supplement that is widely used and based on data does appear to be incredibly safe when used responsibly. Now, none of the studies in adolescents have been pointing exactly to safety profile data. And what I mean by that is there's different ways to perform scientific studies, and none of these were geared towards simply showing safety of creatine, but these were large, well-done studies that were looking at the effects of creatine, and within these studies, we did not see any safety event. So would love to see some more long-term research in younger athletes, but the current evidence is incredibly reassuring. So let's talk about how to use it. There's kind of 2 standard approaches that you're probably going to come across if you're looking into this online. One of the approaches is basically loading with creatine. And so that would be loading with about 0.3 grams per kilogram per day. So if you're a 150-pound athlete, that's about 20 grams. You're going to split that into several different doses for 5 to 7 days, and then you're going to go into a lower daily dose for maintenance. The other option is skipping the loading dose and just taking 3 to 5 grams daily. Now, the big difference in these approaches is basically how long it will take your muscles to fully saturate with the creatine, but the end result is the same. But if you do this loading dose, typically your muscles get fully saturated with the creatine, so you'll have that max benefit within 5 to 7 days. It can take up to 30 days with kind of that lower, with just kind of the basic daily taking the same amount every day. I will say people do tend to get a lot of GI side effects with the loading approach. And what I mean by that is abdominal cramping, nausea, and vomiting. Timing isn't actually super critical for when you supplement with creatine. There are some studies showing that taking it with a carb or some protein may slightly improve your body's uptake of it. And you just need to hydrate normally. You don't need to drink like gallons and gallons of water. You just don't want to get too behind with fluids. It is super easy to take. It really can mix well with anything. I'm just drinking an iced coffee, and I put it in my hot coffee in the day. I'll put it in iced coffee if I make a protein shake. So it's really easy to supplement with. It is, most commonly taken as a powder that you mix in with liquid. And then just, a couple more myths. Some of, I think the biggest myths that I hear with creatine is that it damages your kidneys. If you go crazy with it, if you're taking, 20-gram, 30-gram doses every single day for long term, yes, that can damage your kidneys. But there is a lot of safety data that if you are taking it at normal doses, that it does not cause damage to your kidneys, does not tend to cause cramping or dehydration if you are taking it again as you're supposed to and just hydrating normally. It is not a steroid. It is not a banned substance. It is a very well studied and safe supplement. One thing that's really interesting is it's safe enough to even be used in infants. So in little tiny babies, unfortunately, some babies get born with these genetic creatine deficiencies. And so there are kind of supervised programs that these babies will be on in terms of being supplemented with creatine. So I'm not recommending that anyone do that. I'm just saying that it does speak to that this is a safe supplement. So in young athletes, we have consistent performance benefits with creatine, basically zero reported side effects in multiple published studies. But just remember, any supplement, even a really good one that I'm excited about, like creatine, should be part of a larger performance strategy. And so that larger performance strategy, that's your rest, right? Your rest and recovery. That's your overall nutrition. You can't be eating garbage and just hoping your, scoop of protein and scoop of creatine is going to make everything better. And then obviously I'm a big believer in lab guided optimization of your health. Couple last points I want to make. Not all creatine monohydrate is created equal. The supplement market can be risky. There's a lot of contamination of supplements, mislabeling. There's not a lot of regulation on supplements. So sometimes what you think that you're buying, what it says on the packaging might not be what you're getting. And so that's why I truly believe that everyone, but especially your professional collegiate athletes, people that are going in that direction, should really only use third-party certified supplements, ones that are tested by programs like NSF Certified for Sport or Informed Sport. These verifications are basically going to verify your purity, how accurate the label is, and typically they test for roughly 280 different banned supplements. So in my own practice, if I'm recommending even things to family members, friends, whomever, I only recommend professional grade supplements and products that meet these standards. I do have a curated full script dispensary with sports certified athlete stacks that I personally trust. If you do want access to these physician grade options, you can use my MD Perform link for an exclusive discount that will be included below. So here's the takeaway. Creatine works. It's safe. It's one of the most researched performance supplements in the world. It is legal. But even the best supplements only work if your body's ready for it. And that's why testing matters. Knowing what your actual nutrient levels, your recovery status is, can really take your performance from good to elite. So if you are ready to stop guessing and start optimizing your performance, check out our program, our MD Performs Precision Vitamin and Nutrient Testing, because really, when you know what your body needs, you perform better and you recover faster. So I'm Dr. Amy Biondich. Thanks for watching. Remember, your performance should be built on science, not on guesswork.